Honorable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and our good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his member, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, we'll move straight to item 4. Correction of votes and proceedings and official reports. We will start with the correction of votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 8th February 2023. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Page 20. Page 21. Page 22. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, sorry to bring you back to page 8.
Page what?
Page 8.
8.
Yes. Members who were absent. Mr. Speaker, I was present yesterday in this chamber, but I've been marked absent. So if the correction could be effected. I was present yesterday. Thank you.
Yes, table office kindly take note. I saw him myself. Please make the necessary corrections. We go back to page 19. Page 20. Page 21. Page 22. Page 23. Page 24. Page 25. Page 26. Page 27. Page 28. Page 29. Page 30. Page 31. And page 32. Honorable members, the votes and proceedings of the second sitting held on Wednesday, 8th February 2023, as corrected, are adopted as the true records of proceedings. We don't have any report with us today. And it's important I brought the tables office to this. It looks like for a long time we've not been given the opportunity to look at the official reports. What is the problem? I think you need to let us know. If not, when they come in the flood, it will be difficult for members to focus on all and to do the necessary corrections. So please, official reports. Those involved, please kindly get them available. I don't have any statement with me. I think yesterday you dealt with all the statements that were admitted. Unless there's some urgent statement for consideration, my attention has not been drawn to any of them. Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, yes, you rightly observed that we don't have a statement presently, but my colleague member, the Honorable Ranking Member for Foreign Affairs, has given some indication, and I'm sure in due course we can talk about that. So, in the absence of that, Speaker, with respect, shall we move on to item 6 at the commencement of public business and go on to take item 19 on page 16 on today's order paper, Speaker, with respect.
Minority from
Speaker, we are in agreement with Chief Whip.
Honorable members, at the commencement of public business, item 6, presentation of papers. According to the Majority Chief Whip, we take item
On page 16, item 19.
Item 19 at page 16 of the order paper, motion, chairman of the committee.
Speaker, with respect, the chairman is not present at the moment in the chamber, and I'm a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. I've related duly to my colleagues in leadership, and hence we will seek your leave to present a report for and on behalf of the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this motion is a very important one. We expected the chairman to be here. But more than that, our Honorable Chief Whip must make sure that the members take this House very seriously. I mean, this motion is a very important one. The committee, as a chairman who has worked on a committee, this is scheduled and he knows that this is going to be taken today. He should be here. And it's something that I keep drawing your attention to these matters because in the coming weeks we will not really countenance that. So I want to make sure that they come. But on that note, Mr. Speaker, we can allow the Chief Whip to take that.
Well, Majority Chief Whip, you may go on.
So that, with respect.
Just a minute. Were you trying to raise an issue?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I haven't had this report. My colleagues here hasn't gotten the report. Another member hasn't gotten the report, and I check religiously my pigeonhole every day. So why do you think we should adopt a report that we haven't even seen? At least 3 other colleagues of mine haven't seen the report. So I really don't think that we need to adopt this or work on it until we are all served with copies.
Yes,
with respect,
Majority Chief Whip, yes, respond to this before we move on.
With respect, not according to any order. I recall before we rose, this report was distributed, and then this morning, copies have been made available. I apologize profusely to my friend that he hasn't got a copy yet. I'll make sure he gets a copy. But more to my deputy leader's point. Speaker, the practice has been in this House. I recall there was an occasion that a report had to be presented by, a paper had to be laid by the chair of the Finance Committee. It happened that he was not in the chamber. And my respected minority leader did that on his behalf. Apart from that, the practice has been that once I'm a member of the committee, I'm entitled to present it, unless leadership wants to insist that the chair has to be in the chamber, and we are defying the practice that we all cherish. So let's not belabor this point. Let me present the report, and then if you have some observations, you can make it. It was distributed earlier this morning. More copies have been given to members. The Honorable Minority Leader can attest. There are copies around. And I can see you have a copy now. Yeah, so you can peruse it, and then let's stop dragging this matter.
Mr. Speaker. Oh, I thought.
Let me listen to Honorable Bauer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just glancing through this and also asking the ranking member on foreign affairs. I was just made aware that this has to do with the delimiting, what do you call it, the borders. That's a very important decision to be made. And so to have a document that is about 20 pages, even if you are, it will be difficult to just absorb all these things within a twinkle of an eye. So if they could step it down, so let us read through it properly before we take it. That would be very appreciated, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Clement Apak.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this matter raises a much more profound challenge we have in this House. This is not the first time that we've been given a report in just about 2 minutes, and we are being asked to consider it and comment on that. And I think as a House, we need to do things in a better way. We cannot expect to be doing justice to the issues that come before us when we are not given ample time to look at reports, read them, analyze them, and perhaps even do research so that we can properly contribute. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this presents us with a good opportunity to realign and fine-tune the way we do in this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, the call is for us to give some more time for members to go through the report. The report is actually dated December 2022, giving the impression that it was produced earlier on and been distributed. But I got a copy today. I did check from my records, and none was distributed to my office until today. And so there's a case being made, and I think that the nature of the report demands that we give some more time to members to read, because it's on a very important affair, the affair dealing with the African Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation, the Niamey Convention. So we may give members 1 hour. 1 hour is okay. Oh, 3 hours, I don't know, but 3 hours at this level, 1 hour. 1 hour. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, the document before us is 19 pages. The ranking member indicates that he's ready to speak to the matter strongly. However, I recognize that there's the need for us to review it. Mr. Speaker, I agree if you can give us an hour maximum. I'm sure we can be able to read and do justice with the details. I beg that you give us maximum 1 hour for us to read it.
I should give what?
1 hour, if we can suspend for 1 hour so that members can read the documentation before us.
Oh, suspend sitting for 1 hour?
Or in other words, whilst we are debating it, members can be able to peruse the document. It's only 19 pages. It's not that much.
Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I speak in support of the minority leader's call for suspension for an hour, particularly because all the other items are not ready, except this convention. So, Speaker, if you may accede, we should suspend for an hour, after which we could come back and take this item. Thank you.
Honorable members, we are being urged to suspend sitting for 1 hour. Is that the understanding of the House? Yes. The House is accordingly. Yes, Third Deputy Speaker.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. There's a statement, a tribute for an old member who has passed on. I thought that we could take that, and then if by that time we still don't have sufficient, then we could then suspend. But it's a very short one. The former member of Southern who has passed on. And it was brought to my attention this morning. I perused it, and I think we can take it. So subject to the Speaker's overriding direction, I propose that we use the interim to take that statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honorable members, your attention has been drawn to a statement that has been admitted by the First Deputy Speaker. I gave him the authority to do so, and this is the time for me to formally inform you to submit all your statements to him, and he will hold discussions with you before admitting them. If there's any issue, he will draw my attention to it. Now, don't send statements to my office. Send them to his office, discuss them with him. If they are admitted, we'll go through them together here. And so, if members are prepared to listen to the tribute which is to be paid to one of our illustrious past members, whilst you glance through the report, I think that will be in order. I hope I'm correct. That's your pleasure? Yes.
Speaker, I think that's the best way to go. While we are taking the statement, members will be going through the reports. So
thank you so much. Yes. We go back to item 5 on the order paper, which is statements. And a statement is to be delivered by Honorable Woyomi. Am I right? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to pay glowing tribute to His Excellency, the late Emmanuel Oscar Ameyedo, who was a staunch member of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, and one of the founding members of the National Democratic Congress in the South Tongue constituency. He contested and won as the first parliamentary candidate for the constituency in 1992, a period when the nation had transitioned to multi-party democracy after several years of military rule.
Mr. Speaker, His Excellency Emmanuel Oscar Medo served well during his tenure, both in the constituency and in Parliament. He was a former secretary to the Dabala Area Development Association and Agave Youth Association. Some of the committees he served on in Parliament include Vice Chairman of Select Committee on Local Government and Rural Development, Member of Subsidiary Legislation Committee, Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee, and Chairman of the Committee on Foreign Affairs. Mr. Speaker, the late Emmanuel served as a parliamentarian for only a term, 1993 through 1997. But he was diligent and his presence felt. He was the first chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament and was part of the parliamentary delegations to Republic of Korea, European Parliament, Brussels, and Strasbourg, Investment Promotion Forum, and 50th anniversary of United Nations, New York, the National Institute of Democracy, Strasbourg, and National Assembly of Togo. As a chairman, he managed to acquire an office for the committee that facilitated their work. This was a big feat at the time. He initiated a number of developmental projects during his tenure as a member of parliament in his constituency. And it was during his tenure that the Agodome water treatment was constructed. The late Emmanuel Oscar Amedo also co-edited Proceedings of Seminar on Parliament and Foreign Policy Making in Ghana in 1995, a publication by Frederick Ebert Foundation, Accra, whilst he served as an MP in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, after he served as Member of Parliament from 1993 to 1997, His Excellency Emmanuel Oscar Amedo was appointed by the then President of Ghana, the late Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, as an ambassador of Ghana to the People's Republic of China, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Democratic Republic of Korea, where he served diligently, thereby creating a solid and friendly relation between Ghana and these countries. He served there from 1997 until 2001, after the National Democratic Congress lost power to the NPP. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency Amedo served faithfully even after he retired as an ambassador. This is evident in the words of the former President John Mahama, as he stated when he visited the bereaved family that His Excellency Oscar Amedo was instrumental in arranging his first meeting with the current Chinese president, who was then the vice president. And he was one of the leading men who assisted government in the construction of the Atuabo gas project. Mr. Speaker, life indeed is a journey which must come to an end someday. Today, the life of His Excellency Emmanuel Oscar Amedo, who labored through life as management executive and as a politician, has come to an end. Though gone from our sight, but never from our hearts, because of his good deeds and the many lives he touched. The people of Southtown will miss him, NDC will miss him, we will miss him for the perfect gentleman that he was. An instrument of influence, hope, and support to family, friends, and loved ones. He played his part. Mr. Speaker, those who have had the opportunity to work with him will attest to the fact that His Excellency Emmanuel Oscar Medo was affable, a problem solver, and a unifier, selfless, committed, kind-hearted, and soft-spoken. These we are encouraged to carry and pass on to the next generation of politicians. Mr. Speaker, the mortal remains of our brother, father, friend, and loved one, Emmanuel Oscar Medo, will go into the sand this Saturday, 11th February 2023. I therefore wish to express my deepest condolence to his children, family, the people of Southtown, and to the greater NDC, and I pray for a peaceful rest for the departed soul. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honorable members, any comments? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make comment on the statement made by the member for Southtown on to pay tribute to the late Oscar Amayedo, who was the first MP for Southtown from 1993 to 1997, January. Mr. Speaker, he was the first MP, and then after him, the former First Deputy Speaker, Honorable Kenjirasa, took over from him in 1997, before the current Member of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I agree perfectly with the statement that says that the late Emmanuel Oscar Amayedo was an affable, a problem solver, unifier, very committed, kind-hearted, and a soft-spoken person. Mr. Speaker, I got to know of him when I became a Member of Parliament for Ketunok in 2005. And as a father, he always tried to unify people and also advise on how we should carry ourselves as we represent our people here in this chamber. And this weekend, on the 11th of February, he'll be laid to rest. The people of Southtown have lost an elderly person, an advisor, and somebody who worked for the development of his constituency and his people. As said by the statement, Mr. Speaker, he was one time appointed as ambassador to China, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Democratic Republic of Korea. So you can see that this man had devoted his time to public service, to serve the people of Ghana, especially his constituents. So as we lay him to rest on Saturday, I want to family that even though we all lost him, they will feel the pain more than us. So my condolences to the bereaved family, my condolences to the people of Southtown, and my condolences to Volta region and Ghana as a whole. Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, honorable member.
I'm most grateful, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this tribute, which has been very ably delivered by the Member of Parliament for Southtown, the Honourable Kobi Mensah Woyome. Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Oscar Amayedo as has been well acknowledged, is a former distinguished member of this House. Mr. Speaker, he served as the first chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee from 1993 to 1997. And it can be said, Mr. Speaker, that if that committee remains very strong and vibrant, it is because of the good foundations that the Honorable late Emmanuel Oscar Meadow and his colleagues laid to ensure that that committee continues to serve this House. Right, Honourable Speaker, going through the tribute, it is clear that this is a public servant extraordinaire. He was always called upon to serve his community and his nation. He served the Dabala Area Development. He served the Agave Youth Association. The Speaker, apart from serving in Parliament, when he retired from Parliament in 1997, former President Rawlings also saw the jewel in him, his exceptional qualities made him catch the eye of the former president, and he was appointed ambassador to the Republic of China, to Cambodia, to Vietnam, and the Democratic Republic of Korea. Mr. Speaker, we can say that this is a statesman, this is an illustrious son of the people of South Tong who has served his country very, very well. I'm particularly impressed, Mr. Speaker, that even after all of these impressive positions he held, he returned to his community, according to the Member of Parliament, and he was always available to solve problems, to unify, to inspire the youth, and to offer advice and good counsel, not only to his successor, but also to the entire community and to the National Democratic Congress in South Tong. Clearly, Mr. Speaker, the late Honorable Emmanuel Oscar Meadow will be dearly missed. His country well. He has ensured that the foundations he laid continues to be a guiding spirit for the current Member of Parliament, for the communities that he dedicated all his life to, and Mr. Speaker, most importantly, for this House. We can only pray that the good Lord will grant his soul a peaceful repose. May his family be consoled. As a House and as a caucus in the region, we shall all be with them this weekend to offer our last respect and to give him the dignified send-off which he deserves. I commend the maker of the statement, and I pray that the good Lord will grant our senior statesman, our senior comrade, our late gallant member of this House, a peaceful and eternal glorious rest. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker, for the opportunity to also make some few comments of my personal tribute to His Excellency, the late Emmanuel Oscar Ameodo. even though the Speaker, he did just one thing, his record in this House is still really very vivid. And in reading the tribute, the member for Southdown indicated that the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee then, he managed to secure an office for his committee. And Mr. Speaker, you are very much aware, and you knew very well at that time how difficult it was to secure offices for parliamentary business. And for him to be able to do that is no small feat. And we cannot appreciate why till now that committee has remained one of the very strong committees of this House. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, the Tohung area sits in large volume of water, but water has always been a major problem for many of the communities. And in this same tribute, we also read about him as a member of parliament initiating a water treatment project for the good people of Agodome. Meaning he knew what his people really wanted. That is not the only achievement about this honorable former colleague of ours. Mr. Speaker, we also read that he contributed strongly to Ghana's efforts in the construction of the Atuabo gas project. All today admit, Mr. Speaker, has helped in solving the energy crisis that confront us. Not too long ago, the majority chief whip made a statement about the huge contribution of Atuabo gas. His contribution to Ghana achieving this feat cannot be belaboured. And if today he's been called to his maker to join others, what we can do is to celebrate him. Mr. Speaker, he did not just earn his work only in this House or at the national level. He contributed significantly in solving issues in his home constituency. Indeed, of the Tohung constituencies, South Tohung can be described as the hotbed of politics in the Tohung areas. And Ambassador Oscar did not ignore the local politics. He played his own role. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency, the former President, Jerry Rawlings, indeed spent most times in that constituency because he has a little place that he loves to be most of the time. There are times when he will invite him over and will be with him to share a lot of experiences. And he was truly a man who knew so much and was determined to help his people. What I would want to urge is that many of these senior ones should be documenting what it is that they've gone through, so that even as they are away, Mr. Speaker, we can still read and know a little more about them. With these few words, Speaker, in thanking you, I wish our departed comrade that his soul will rest in perfect peace. Thank you.
Yes, the last contributor. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to contribute to the statement made by Honorable Uyuma in respect of tribute to Mr. Honorable Ameyedo. Honorable Ameyedo was a son to Tong, not only South Tong. He was a son to Tong because at the time, all issues relating to Tong, he was very key in it, especially at the time that he was the secretary to Agave Youth Association. Honorable Ameyedo, it was not surprising at the time that he emerged among about 5 candidates as the first parliamentary candidate for the NDC in South Tong when Ghana was being ushered into multi-party democracy. He was duly elected and he represented the good people of South Tong at the time. He played a major role also in parliament. He emerged as the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee and he did very well. Like my brother indicated, he was able to secure an office for that particular committee. And because he did a lot as a chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, when he was removed by Honorable Jirasan as the MP for South Tong, the president at the time still identified him and made him an ambassador to China. Honorable Ameyedo, as an ambassador to China, could be credited for his role in the Aptuabo gas company that we have today, because it was through his negotiation that we were able to get that for Ghana. When he came back after serving as an ambassador, he did not end it there. He went back home and was a peacemaker, a pacifier in all issues related to chieftaincy and land in Agave land. Honorable Ameyedo remained a pillar among the Tongus and for that matter Agave until his demise. Honorable Ameyedo is someone we miss in the Volta region, and I am sure that all Voltarians will join us to give him a befitting burial when his funeral is being organized. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leadership, you want to have a word? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me thank the maker of the statement, the MP for South Tong, colleague Honorable Kobna Mensah Woyome, for a very important statement, paying glowing tribute to a statesman whose life, as we have seen, is completely a life of service, not only as a member of Parliament, but even after Parliament, Mr. Speaker, he played a role as a diplomat, a community leader until his passing. It was very clear that in Parliament, he was very involved in all the activities of Parliament and left an indelible mark in this House. As we've been told, he was the Vice Chairman of the Select Committee on Local Government Rural Development, member of the Subsidiary Committee on Legislation, Trade, Industry and Tourism, and the Committee on Foreign Affairs. Mr. Speaker, his period of service from 1993 to 1971, as we have seen, really cemented the gains in our legislature. But more than that, when he left Parliament, Mr. Speaker, he continued on. What was remarkable was when he was appointed by the late Excellency President Jerry John Rawlings as the ambassador of Ghana to the Republic of China, Cambodia, Vietnam, and the Democratic Republic of Korea. Mr. Speaker, diligently as a diplomat to the benefit of Ghana, but more than that, even after he had left office, his long-lasting connections in China benefited our country. Mr. Speaker, I personally, at the time as a minister, when Ghana was working to raise the funding for the gas processing plant, there was the need for us to work to secure this facility. And Mr. Speaker, it required more than dealing with the financial institutions in China. It required engagement with high-level political figures and the work of our late Honorable was at play, handy for Ghana, as was stated by His Excellency President Mahama. He led us, facilitated, rejuvenated his old contacts, and led us to the loan facility that ultimately got us to build the Atuadu processing plant. And so today, Mr. Speaker, if we are talking about the gains we've made as a result of the first phase of this gas processing plant, the fact that our gas and the expensive purchase of crude oil has been cut in half as a result of the long lines of LPG having been reduced because now we don't import half of that LPG. Those long lines in Ghana that we don't see anymore. Mr. Speaker, on this day we pay tribute to our late Honorable Mr. Ameyedolo. Mr. Speaker, more than that, he was a community leader. He served his community with admiration, even after Parliament. He was affable, a problem solver, a unifier, selfless, committed, and kind-hearted. Mr. Speaker, we have so much to learn from the life of our late Honorable Ameyedolo. He served his God, he served his country, and he served his community. So on this day, Mr. Speaker, he has fought a good fight, and he deserved a good rest. I think the call by the maker of the statement that he will be laid to rest on Saturday the 11th, and inviting all of us to join in honoring him is a call that I want to echo, that we should all, if we are as much as possible, join our honorable members to an honorable man who has served his country and community so well. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the statement.
Honorable members, as the only member of the First Parliament of the Fourth Republic still available in this House, I think it's proper I say a few words as a tribute to our late. Oh, the Majority Chief, we wanted to say a word. Please, you can do so before I end up.
Speaker, just a tear statement in showing solidarity to my colleague, the member for the South Tongue, right, who just handed over this copy of the statement to me. Very uncharacteristic of him. Be it as it may, Speaker, I think that not to belabor the high points as raised, particularly by the Deputy Leader, the character displayed in pursuit of public service by the late Honourable Member is admirable. I want to focus on his actions that ultimately led to the Atuabo gas establishment. I think it's worthy of celebration, and I want to particularly show pride because as we speak, we are told that that establishment is manned wholly by Ghanaians. So we have transitioned completely, and this couldn't have seen the light of day, but for the fundamentals that were laid by people like him, we all need to admit this and celebrate it. So I'm particularly elated by the fact that currently those of us who occupy public service have become more of an endangered species. And for him, all the good things that are being said, I prick myself and ask myself, if I'm no more one day, what will be said about me as a public thing is worthy of emulation. I'm also privileged to have served as a chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Coincidentally, we are told he was once chair of that illustrious committee. I am very happy to hear all the good things that the honourable member chalked and supervised. I'm very happy to know this. But going forward, Speaker, I tend to wonder what, as Parliament as an institution, probably we should also be asking ourselves what we also be doing in immortalizing the memory of such key and important personalities of this August House. What we can do, and Speaker, I know you are full of ideas when it comes to things like this. And so I wouldn't take the wind out of your sail, because you are also going to speak. Any suggestion that will come up to immortalize such key characters, I think it will not be out of place. Having said that, I share in the pain of the people of South Dong, and the current member particularly, and all the people, the loved ones, and Parliament as a whole. So yeah, I thank you for the space granted. I'm grateful.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just have a few words as part of the tribute that is being paid by this Honorable House to one of our former illustrious members who has a footprint worthy of study and emulation by current members of Parliament. It's important, honorable members, when you are given a position, please try and get back to history to learn what happened before your time. Who were the occupants of that position before you? And what did they leave behind? South Dong is a very great constituency. I'm sure many of you only heard of Dr. G.K. Agama. He was a member of Parliament for South Dong. And the late Honorable Ambassador Oscar Ameido took over from him. And the 1996 elections, he did not contest. He did not contest. He just allowed the Honorable, my very senior Honorable Kenneth Jirasa, who was then a Deputy Speaker, to contest, to come back, to continue as the Deputy Speaker of this House. The late Oscar Ameido was a towering figure, very soft-spoken, very admirable, and very intelligent. He was a product of Accra, Bleu, Legon, and Tech. And so it's important that many of you should go back to history, because the record they left was so huge, so important, that if we had learned those things, we wouldn't be making some of the mistakes we are making today. When I hear members say some committees are not active, I just wonder who is to make those committees active. That was the first Parliament of the Fourth Republic. But as chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, he made the committee as one of the most important committees of the House. It's not only his efforts that gave a very good office to the committee, but he also got a lot of opportunities for the committee members to partner the ministry then to evolve and formulate a lot of foreign policies for this country. They were partners in governance. And I think that various committees should do the same. That's the only way you can strengthen your committees and get other people, apart from the ministries, the other stakeholders, to support the committees to deliver on their mandate. So our late former colleague is to be celebrated. For some good reason, I will not be there myself, but I'll be sending a very powerful delegation to represent me. Honorable Kobina Mensah Woyomi, this is the task for you. These are stalwarts you inherited, and you cannot afford to do anything lower than what their legacy is now. And so you need to up your game. I loved him so much, and it was not just me. I'm sure that if you go through the history, you see the number of ladies that wanted to be partners of the late Oscar Amedo. He was such a handsome guy, and I think that it's no wonder that Southton is a great constituency. And our former illustrious president, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, did not just take that place as his residence, but it's because of the type and nature of the people there. In spite of this towering figure, he was so humble, simple, down to earth. I was very young, and he was far a senior. But he moved with all of us, and we learned a lot from him. It's sad that we lost him at an early age, because definitely we'll be expecting that such strong men, as stated by the Holy Bible, it's only the strong people who live up to 80. If not, we the weak ones get up to only 70. Not for me, I'm strong, so I'm going 100 years. Those who are praying that I should die now, please, you go before me. Are you sure? Yes, so, honorable members, let's, in great respect, just give him a minute's silence to show our appreciation of what he's done for Parliament, for Southton, and for Mother Ghana. May the soul of our great former colleague, Honorable Ambassador Oscar Amedo, rest in perfect peace. Amen. First Deputy Speaker to take the chair, and I'm sure by this time members will have gone through the report, and so we'll get back to public business. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I thought your ruling was that we break for 1 hour. As a matter of fact, when the statement was being read, we were paying attention, and for which reason the contributions were made. So I think that it is still appropriate. We have the 1 hour break, then we can exhaust this before we can make meaningful contribution to it, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mutala Mohammed, very active member of Parliament, well-spoken. This one, I think something slipped by you, because we went beyond that. We went beyond that to accepting that while the tribute is being paid, members should take that time to read the report of the committee. I'm sure you were caught up in something else. And so that is what we go by. We allow the report to be read by the majority chief whip for and on behalf of the chairman. It is the practice. The rules actually say is the chairman of the committee. If you look at standing order, I think 161, it's the chairman of the committee that should present the report. But by practice, we always allow a member to present. And that is why in the practice, you always ask the leaders whether they have any objection. When the leaders don't have objection, then you allow the member to read the report. That is general rule. But when you go to the specific committees, there are other rules dealing with specific committees as to who can present a report. And in some committees, it's clearly stated that a member of the committee can present the report. So that is why we usually allow this as a practice. And I want to plead with you to allow others to be making their contributions while you go through the report. And let's handle it for today. We don't want to allow work to pile on. There's a lot of work for us to do during this meeting. Very key legislations and some instruments we have to pass as a house. So let's start on a very strong note. And I am happy that I see from your body language that you've accepted my plea. I'm mostly grateful to you for that. So, Majority Chief Whip, you can present the statement. First Deputy Speaker, please kindly take the chair.
Speaker, I'm grateful, and I rise to move this August House to adopt the report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on the African Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation, and that is the Niamey Convention. Mr. Speaker, in so doing, I present the committee's report. I intend to limit myself to only some few portions, and hence I should do the needful by capturing the entirety of the report. Speaker, the African Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation was one of the seven legal instruments adopted at the Assembly of the Union's 23rd Ordinary Session, held on 27th of June 2014 at Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. The Niamey Convention aims to facilitate the peaceful resolution of border disputes at both local and international levels. It also seeks to promote effective and efficient integrated border management to serve as a catalyst for development and economic growth amongst countries. Speaker, Ghana has cross-border disputes with all three neighboring countries who have already signed the convention, Cote d'Ivoire and Togo, and have already ratified theirs. Ratifying the convention in Ghana will therefore enable the country to take advantage of the information sharing mechanisms provided to promote trade and facilitate free movement of goods and people. Speaker, the committee was informed that Ghana may not need to contribute financially towards the implementation of the provision of the convention, because activities under the convention will be aligned to the 2021-2025 strategic plan of Ghana Boundary Commission. So in conclusion, the convention provides enormous opportunities to strengthen Ghana's integrated border management systems and establish cross-border cooperation with neighboring countries to improve security and combat terrorism. Undoubtedly, the committee recognizes the benefits of Ghana stands to gain from the ratification of the convention. The convention, once ratified by Parliament in accordance with Article
75 of the Constitution will improve Ghana's image as a country which is committed to the African Union and ECOWAS. Speaker, I so present. I thank you.
Yes. Right. Ranking, yes, okay.
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to second the motion. Mr. Speaker, the Niamey Convention of the African Union on Cross-Border Cooperation is a very, very important one. Mr. Speaker, what this convention seeks to achieve is to resolve matters relating to cross-border disputes.